What's going on, y'all? Connor Jasek here. If you're wanting to pass your life insurance exam in a short amount of time and on the first attempt, this video is for you because that's what I did, and I'm going to share with y'all exactly how I did it. I studied for 3 days and around 16 hours total, then passed with an 88%, so it wasn't even a close call. Now, I will go ahead and say this video may not be for you if you're not willing to take a little bit of risk and try some unconventional study tactics. I was never a good test taker myself. I actually dropped out of college 3 times, and that right there should show you that anybody can do this. Now, the big difference between me dropping out of college and passing my life insurance exam in a very short amount of time is the fact that I actually wanted to pass my life insurance exam in a short amount of time. I didn't give myself an alternative. I had to do this. I needed to do this. And if you look online, most websites will tell you that you need to study for your exam for at least 30 to 40 hours over the course of several weeks. Also, Pearson VUE, the online proctoring service, they mention how only around 50% of people pass the exam on their first attempt. And my point with all this is that if you're going to try to pass in a short amount of time, you really need the conviction. So the very first thing you need to do before you even start studying is go ahead and get that exam scheduled. Knowing that the exam is coming up, whether you're ready for it or not, it's going to force you to be a lot more efficient with your study time. It's going to prevent you from taking a whole lot of unnecessary breaks and going grocery shopping or cleaning the home when you should be studying. And it's also going to force you to focus on only the material that you actually need to know instead of trying to learn everything. Now, schedule it as far out as you feel comfortable. I definitely was nervous scheduling mine just a few days out. I definitely was nervous if that was going to be enough time or not, but I knew that I could always retake the exam if I were to fail. So that really helped me feel comfortable scheduling it a few days out, and I knew that I was going to get this done in whatever amount of time that I gave myself. So if I gave myself several weeks, I knew it would take me several weeks. I knew if I gave myself just a few days, I would get it done in just a few days. All right, I'm back in my car now. It got really cold on top of that parking garage, but I thought it was a great view, and it's a beautiful morning here in Austin, so I wanted to be up there. But you should be able to schedule your exam through Pearson VUE. Again, it's the online proctoring service. I believe mine cost around $35, and it makes it really easy to schedule your exam and also to take your exam. Once you get it scheduled, you want to go ahead and make a study schedule. Go ahead and put time on your calendar and your schedule to study. I studied for around 5 to 6 hours each day, and these are incredibly effective and efficient study hours. You're not on your phone, you're not double tasking and cooking at the same time or checking emails. These are incredibly effective study hours, and they have to be if you want to do this in a short amount of time. Also, something else that really helped me as I was studying is just remembering that I can always retake the exam if I were to fail. That really helped alleviate anxiety. It really helped me relax. Obviously I didn't want to fail, but I just knew that if I were to fail, I could always take it again. So just remember that. That's really going to help you relax. The exam only costs 30 to 40 bucks. It's not the end of the world if you have to retake it, because it's really easy to start worrying about this and to get all worked up about it and to get all this anxiety. But if you allow that to happen, it's just going to distract you from retaining the material. It's going to distract you as you're studying, and it's not going to help you out. So just remember, you can always retake the exam if you were to fail, and you just need to relax and just dive into the material. The material that you study for your life insurance exam is obviously going to be one of the most important parts. It's really important that you study to pass your exam and not necessarily study to learn every single detail or every single term, because like most things in life, you're going to learn the most by actually getting out in the field and practicing it and talking to people. You're not going to learn everything by sitting behind a textbook and reading and taking notes. I used Excel Solutions for my study material. I was a bit concerned at first because it looked like it was made in the 1990s.
A loss from an individual or business to an insurance company, which in turn spreads the cost of the unexpected financial loss to many individuals.
And I just didn't know if it was going to be up to date or not, but it turned out all right. Excel Solutions had everything in there that I needed to know for the exam. Now, as far as knowing what to study and how to be efficient with your time, it's really simple, and that is to skip over essentially all of the reading, all of the chapters, all of the text and everything like that, and go straight to the practice exams. That's exactly what I did. I did very little reading up front and went straight to the practice exams. And what that did for me is it showed me what I don't know. Because a lot of the questions on the test and a lot of the questions on the exam can be self-explanatory, and you can oftentimes figure out the answers on your own. You know, if you were to not do any reading or any studying, you might make a 50% today or tomorrow. And by going straight to the practice exams, it's going to show you what you need to focus your time on. That way you can bring that 50% up to a 70, 80, and 90% in a really short amount of time. As I was doing the practice exams, anytime I would get a question wrong, I would write down the question and I would write down the answer and go back to the text, then go back to the chapters and focus on what I was getting wrong. And that's when I would do the reading. That's when I would go through the chapters once I already knew what I needed to focus my time on. Now, as far as exam day goes, you know the drill. It's really simple. You need to go about your normal morning routine. If you drink coffee in the morning, drink coffee. If you eat breakfast in the morning, eat breakfast. I personally wanted to take my exam really early. That way I wouldn't have the stress and the anxiety throughout the day, and I could just get it over with, because, you know, whenever the exam comes around, you're either ready for it or you're not. And prolonging it, scheduling it at noon instead of 9 a.m. isn't really going to do much for you. There's not too much you're really going to learn in that last hour or two. So schedule it early. That's what I would recommend. I scheduled mine at around 6 a.m. That way I could just wake up, drink my coffee, and dive right into the exam and get it over with. I completed the exam itself in about an hour and 15 minutes, so it really wasn't that long. And they sent me an email about 10 minutes later with my final score. Like I mentioned earlier, it was an 88%. I was extremely happy to have passed with an 88% after studying for only a few days, because I did have a lot of stress and anxiety over this, and this really helped me to get it over with. So that's everything I would recommend. Go ahead and drop in the comments what your experience was like taking your life insurance exam. That way other people can learn from your experience, and be sure to include any tips or tricks that were not included in this video. And if you want to learn more about becoming a life insurance broker, I did make a video about it with all of the details, which you'll find right here. So if you want to learn more about being an insurance broker, go ahead and check it out. I'll see y'all next time.